So probably the most important thing you're going to check on your airplane whenever you're doing an annual inspection, a 100-hour, or even an oil change is the health of your engine. And nothing is going to tell you more about the health of your engine than the oil filter. We've had a variety of different tools. Some work better than others. I've worked other places that have others. I don't like that one. I've actually bought this off of, I think, Temu, and it's okay. The best tool, and I'll show you where to get it, is this, because it works better than any of the rest. Most of them have a wheel you have to crank and it slowly cuts in. This one, you've got these two handles, gives you good leverage. You pry in nice and tight. You just go right around. Right here, it cutting right there. Like that, off it comes. That's your cutting wheel. Cuts the metal nice and true. And now you've got your flange. And the one thing you'll run into is some of the filters don't have the center stud. So grab yourself a pair of pliers. And you can literally clamp this in a vise and you can unscrew. This is just threaded in. And then you'll have one to use with this. I believe when you buy it, it might come with a piece that goes in there as well. This works just fine. And then of course you want to get your filter element out, which that's it right there. Down here between the pleats you're going to find one that has a metal retainer on it, and you want to rip that out. So you take, I use my 808 CF, the best tool you're ever going to use as an airplane mechanic, and literally it's just a crimp, goes over the ends. Take that, throw that in the trash. Next step, hacksaw. And I just want to make it clear, you're not cutting the metal core in the middle. All you are doing is just going through the paper, and as soon as you feel the blade touch the metal, stop cutting there and start rolling the filter. Same thing on the other side. Now, I did work one place where the boss wouldn't let us use a hacksaw. We had to use a razor blade instead. But I can tell you, in over 30 years of doing this, that was 6 months at one place I wasn't allowed to. I have never seen a hacksaw blade generate enough metal to make you think that your filter was bad. Not to mention, the metal that's going to come out of this will be bright and shiny steel. Metal that usually will come out of an engine that's bad, unless it's like gouging inside the crankshaft throws where the connecting rods go on, is going to be dull, black colored. You want to pull a third to a half of the filter material out, as you see here. Cut it off. Always, always, always make sure you're working on something clean, paper, rag, whatever, so you don't pick up filings, let's say, off the bench because someone is over here grinding or cutting. And so now if you're looking at the medium right now, notice it's all black. It's hard to see if there was any debris or material in there. So I like to take the vise, just lay a rag over it quick, open it up enough to put the material in, and then squish it. And as you can see, the oil is going to bubble up out of the element all the way down. Let the rag catch the worst of it, weight the top, catch the bottom here, and then undo it. Make sure you wipe up the vise, of course, so that other people aren't screaming at you for leaving a horrendous mess. And now you'll notice your filter paper is pretty clean. I've got a few flakes here and there. So with those, we go on to test. If they're black and shiny, they could be carbon. So take a pick or the edge of a tiny screwdriver and try and break them, because carbon will just shatter easily. And then, of course, do the magnet trick with plastic bag over the tip. And if the magnet picks up, yeah, this is a fairly bad filter actually, but I'll show you the magnet trick next. And then, like I said, if you need that centerpiece for doing other filters, it's just threaded into the base plate of the filter. And if you take one out and keep it, now you have one. Notice there's a shoulder on it to stop it from going in further than it needs to. But that's like a standard same thread. It's literally almost like, to make the different filter part numbers, they just thread one in or don't thread one in, depending on the engine model. So unfortunately, we got a worst case scenario today when we cut the oil filter open. Well, there are actually worse cases I've seen, unfortunately, believe it or not. Actual slivers of metal. But look down inside of that. You see all that kind of fuzz. You gotta hope that that is, you actually see it better without the light, that is carbon and not some sort of metal. In particular, ferrous metal, meaning anything magnetic. So I took my magnet, I put a thin plastic bag over it, ran it down through the groove like that, and we got the worst case scenario. Because you can see there, see how that metal sticks, and boom, yep. This is just like the Mr. Fuzzy Head ones there, where you take the magnetic filings and you draw the hair and beard and whatever on the guy. That's what we got going on inside the oil filter right now. So we're sending it out for analysis along with some oil, but pretty sure we get another engine change on the list of things to do. And when you see something like that, you have to think, what is steel inside of an aircraft engine? The cylinders are steel, the crankshaft is steel, and the most likely suspect is the camshaft. The lifter bodies that it rides against, the cam followers. If you ever leave this thing, the engine plugged in on a heater, it boils the water out of the oil. The water, the vapor goes to the top of the engine, condenses on the camshaft and the cam followers. And what happens is it makes pits in the surface of the cam follower, which is steel. And then every time the camshaft goes around, those little pits take a bite. They're basically doing the same thing that sandpaper does. All those little edges on the sandpaper, all those little edges of sand, they take a bite as you drag it across the surface. A file does the same thing. Essentially, you're filing the camshaft with pits that are in the cam follower. And obviously, while you're doing this, wear gloves, because this oil is nasty stuff. You don't want to have it on your skin long term, because it will soak in. It's got lead in it. It's got all kinds of byproducts of combustion. Wear gloves. Save your liver, save your skin, and your kidneys.